shall we just do a little introduction? So do you just want to maybe talk a little bit about yourself and your filmmaking kind of journey
Yeah,
to start
sure.
with?
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker, writer, director, but I produce now as well. I started off doing like music videos, skateboard films, graffiti films. Yeah, just stuff about sort of like just urban culture stuff that was around me really. And then eventually got into doing like drama and like feature films and TV drama and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically sort of my journey in like in a short space of time.
Cool. And do you maybe want to talk about, because that was the first time I saw that film and I thought it was amazing. Do you maybe want to talk a little bit about the process of making Thinking Out Loud and maybe some of your like creative decisions to have that kind of spoken word over the top?
Yeah, it was like a collaboration. I know the lead actor really well. He's an artist as well, so he came to me and he was like, "Yeah, I saw one of your films, kind of like similar setting," and he was like, "Look, I really want to do like a film that's kind of, you know, that shows kind of like my past lifestyle." So I was like, "Yeah, let's," and then we just sat down in a room, we just collaborated, and we just wanted to show like a different aspect of sort of like, I guess in inverted commas, like gang culture, because I think like you never really see that element of it. You see kind of like a very much glamorized side where people like shooting each other and stabbing each other, and like that does happen, but there is definitely another side, like the more human side to it. And then we really wanted to make it kind of quite well, on my side I really wanted to make it very poetic in a sense, almost like you were watching a slice of life. That's kind of very real, almost kind of a documentary aesthetic, but almost like just like a realism to it as well. So that was the decision I sort of made on that one.
And as well, another thing that was like interesting about it was that like that the kind of like masculinity element of men not being able to talk, and then it being very interesting, like where you see him, the character isn't speaking, but then you've got his thoughts kind of talking. Did that kind of come into your thinking a little bit, like tied into the way that men don't talk?
100%. That was the whole concept of it. It was like that's why it's called like thinking out loud. So you kind of like hear his whole thought process throughout that whole journey, where he's not necessarily like communicating with, I guess, his work colleagues, and that's why the system's gone wrong. Why he's not communicating with his wife. The only one he's really communicating with is his kid, which he kind of doesn't really understand him, which is the irony behind it. Even though he does, but in a effect, he talks about more things to his kid and have a more understanding with him than he has with any of the other characters. So yeah, we just wanted to sort of like also touch upon like a lot of, I want to call it like an introvert, like men and masculinity being quite an introverted kind of aspect. But I wanted to sort of pinpoint it to it and sort of lean a little bit on sort of like mental illness without it being like kind of out there, you know,
like obvious.
Too obvious, yeah, as well.
A bit of the filmmaker's subtleties.
Yeah, it's very subtle in that one.
Yeah. So also, if at any point anyone from the audience has any questions, just raise a hand. So yeah, the title of this event is "How do we support the next generation of BME filmmakers?" And of course, not expecting you to have all the answers. It's a very complicated topic and issue, but I think, you know, the work you've done and your journey is very inspiring to others, and I think sometimes just talking about the process of how you got to where you are is a very helpful way of mapping out how other aspiring filmmakers can do their thing too. So yeah, maybe let's maybe start at the beginning. So like, was there a moment in your childhood or whatever when you kind of decided you wanted to be a filmmaker?
I always had like a massive interest to it. I think I watched a few films when I was a kid and sort of inspired me. I think one of them was probably Le Haine. It's like a French film. It's a classic film. It's probably like the first time that I actually saw like a mixture of like different communities in like one neighborhood, and captured on screen like amazingly well. Like a Jewish character, like African character, Arabic character. That was literally my neighborhood. So I was just like, wow, this is a film that sort of is like my neighborhood. not barring the riots and stuff. But yeah, it was like something that kind of inspired me to be like, okay, I can tell stories. That's what's going on around me. Like similar things that they were going through, me and my friends were going through as well, especially with the police and, you know, just, I guess, like local government and stuff like that. It was kind of very reflective at the time. And yeah, I sort of like, yeah, when I was like really young, and I was like, wow, this is like kind of like mad. And it's only because like my grandma, she was like from like a French and Italian background, so she used to let me watch a lot of I guess European films. So there was a few films like that that sort of were very inspiring.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Lahane's a great film. And it's interesting that that you, like, you reference a French film there, because would you say now you know, since, like, for me anyway, my generation, I'd say probably kidulthood was probably one of the first things to show like kind of urban street culture in the UK, or whatever you want to call it. Did you find that? I think was Lahane a little bit before kidulthood, or was it?
I guess it's probably, yeah, that was
when
like,
when you were growing up, did you feel like an absence of that representation of?
Yeah,
UK
I think yeah, when we were growing up, I think it was just like kidulthood. I think there was one called Bullet Boy as well, as a film, but there wasn't like much representation in terms of like, I guess, Indian or Arabic or like black films sort of being made. I can't even name an Arabic sort of British film actually, so I don't think there is one. But yeah, there was like a lack of sort of representation on screen, and I was just like sort of making little films anyway without me realizing I was becoming a filmmaker. So I was just like had a little camera and was just capturing. But yeah, I think at the time there wasn't, and I think yeah, Lahane was like a French film, and like Kidulthood, of course, that was like very inspiring as well. And then yeah, I think that was it really.
Do you remember your first film?
That I made?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember it. I used to, we basically used to do like a lot of graffiti, like in a graffiti sort of crew, and I just like sort of filmed us literally just on the tracks, like just spraying up the tracks, and we used to like surf trains. It's really dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, we used to surf trains, and I used to just captured like loads of those elements, and it was like a day in the life of us, sort of like just like bombing London sort of thing. That was literally the first one, and I think I made another one about us sort of skating and stuff, and that was it.
Cool. And what's the time period between you making that film and Thinking Out Loud?
I don't know, when I was a kid, probably about, I'd say like about maybe 12 years, 15 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time, because it's weird. I didn't really get into doing anything like I would call that sort of documentary type film making when I was like capturing my friends and stuff, and then I kind of went in a period of like just doing like music videos, like by accident. So I'd done like a skateboard film. An artist saw it, or producer saw it, and then he was just like, "Oh, can you do one for this band?" And I didn't really listen to like indie music like that. And then I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I just like literally called one of my boys and I said, "Look, I've got." I shouldn't really saying this to you, but like, yeah, I just literally paid him by weed, innit? And I said, like, do you wanna just like, do you wanna do this thing? And then he was like, yeah, sure. And now he's a massive skater. I think he's like represented by YSL and like really big sort of top Italian brands now. But yeah, he just done like loads of skating for me, and then we captured around London on a 5D, or like a DSLR camera or something. I can't remember. It was like really like cheap camera. It was a terrible camera, but it looked really good actually. I was pleased with that. And then I think that was like one of my first sort of promo type films.
Cool. And on the topic of funding films, how did you get the funding for Thinking Out Loud? I assume it was a bit different.
Yeah, that was different. It was the artist. He had the indie label, so he actually like funded that, and then his partner. what was it? His partner's dad like randomly owns like this massive like production house, so we got a lot of their cameras and the lighting for free. Okay. So it kind of really helped us out, to be fair, sort of making like thinking out loud.
Okay, cool. And obviously you've done what kind of every young filmmaker aspires to do eventually, and that's make a feature film. So do you maybe want to talk a little bit about, for those who don't know, Sheridan, he's got a feature film. Is it still on Netflix? It was.
Yeah, it's on Amazon now.
It's on Amazon now. Yeah. Called The Weekend, and would you maybe like to talk a little bit about the process of what led to that and how important maybe like short films were in the build up to getting something like that?
Yeah, it was. I think just before it, I made a short film called Wasteman Diaries, and it went viral. Loads of people started watching it. I think it sort of really resonated with a lot of people, and like I've approached like the BFI. I was like, oh, can you fund this film? And I gave them my production plan, and they were just going, oh, this is impossible to make. No, we're not going to fund you. So I was like, okay, cool. And then beg, borrowed, steal to sort of make that film happen. We got like some private investment to make it, and we made it sort of like really sort of low budget and got like great talent onto it. I think everyone who actually acted in it has gone into do like amazing things, like literally BAFTA nominated. So like all the talent they haven't done, they didn't do a feature film before. I don't think anyone on that production actually done a feature film before. So it's quite incredible. Like we actually sort of made a feature film, to be fair. We made that one.
You got like Purcell, Ascot, and
Purcell,
people from MANDEM on the wall, wasn't it? So
yeah.
How was that? How was it finding cast for that?
Yeah, I think they were kind of local to us, and then like we approached them, and we thought they'll be great because it's about three boys. They already had a chemistry. It wasn't that type of film that I wanted to create a chemistry, because that's sometimes really difficult to get and make it feel authentic. And they got like natural comedy as well. They're like, I would say they're very good comedic actors, and that's very rare for like young people to grasp. It's hard enough getting like great young actors, but when you great young comedic actors, I always say it's sometimes nearly impossible, especially the type of comedy I wanted to sort of represent in that film. We got lucky with that, I think.